What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with a vintage Kenner Star Wars market update. There were a number of really interesting items that sold this weekend, and most of it is focused, or at least this video is focused on Last 17. I don't know why, but Last 17 seemed to be the big push this weekend, and there were a ton of both loose graded as well as mint on card Last 17 characters that all sold. So we're going to get to those in a little bit, but it'll be some useful data points for those of you trying to fill out your Last 17 collection. I haven't even started mine yet, really. I mean, I've got Yak Face, and that's pretty much it. So maybe that'll be something to look at for next year for me, is to pick up a few loose graded Last 17 figures. But nevertheless, let's get started. We've got a really nice Brian's Toys on eBay had a number of auctions going, and one of them was this one. This was a really pretty 20-back H Jawa. It was graded 80 plus. Really nice condition overall. It was unpunched. It had the Boba Fett offer sticker. And here's the label on it. 20-back H. Card got an 80, blister 85, figure 85. So a very, very high-grade example of an early card back. And there were a number of different 20-backs that were available. And they were usually, you could tell the differences based on whether they had this yellow and black Boba Fett sticker that had been slapped on top of the rocket firing mechanism. As you guys, I'm sure, are aware, you know, the original Boba Fett was going to have a rocket firing mechanism, but after a child choked on a Battlestar Galactica missile, they removed that. So they had to cover up a number of the card back 20-backs that already had that rocket firing promo on there. So they slapped that yellow and black sticker on there. And then they also, there's a number of different offer extension stickers, circular and rectangular. This one has the rectangular offer extended until 12/31/1980. So there's some circular ones as well. But anyway, this is the 20-back with the, and you can see there on the AFA label, it's labeled rectangular extension sticker. That one sold for $13.27 plus $8 shipping. I don't follow the 20-backs close enough to tell you whether that's fair or not. To me, I'd probably pay that given the high-grade condition and where we've seen a number of different 20 and 21 backs sell over the last few months. So to me, that seems like right in line. But you'll have to ask one of the experts that really tracks those closely. Here's an interesting one. This is a qualified graded AT-AT Walker with the Empire Strikes Back box. And so here it is right here, all-terrain armored transport 70 qualified. So for those of you new to grading, you know, anything that's qualified means that it's no longer mint and sealed box. It's no longer factory sealed, but it has all of the contents inside, and all of the contents are verified as unused contents. So you can't have like a used sticker sheet, for example, with the stickers applied. All the sticker sheets have to be complete and unused. All the inserts, all the catalogs, all that stuff's got to be inside. So anyway, pretty cool to see one of these. And this one is one of the boxes that has the survival kit kind of circular label there on the front there. You can see it's got the, you know, typical survival kit items of the weapons with the grappling hook and the backpacks, things like that. And so there's one with and without that survival kit kind of circular promo there on the front. So pretty cool to see that. But anyway, that one sold for $12.25 on 36 bids plus $100 shipping. You know, who knows if that's fair or not. To me, that seems pretty reasonable given the condition and the fact that it's graded. But pretty cool to see one of those sell at auction. We just saw a vintage collection AT-AT that was graded U85 sell, and so now we've seen an actual vintage Kenner version sell. Now we're going to get into a few loose graded. The interesting thing on this one is that this was not the typical seller that we see over in the UK, but this was a different seller, and it had a UKG 85% Cloud Car Pilot. And this is one I'd love to get. I'd love to get one of these loose graded like this. And this has got the new case with the accessories kind of splayed out next to it, but very nice item. I had no idea where this was going to sell. For a while it sat at about 100 to 150 bucks, and then at the end it jumped up to 307 US dollars or 230 Great British pounds plus $16 shipping. So this seller, what was attractive to a number of the items for me was that this seller was not using the global shipping program through eBay, which is ridiculous. It's so expensive. It's like 50 or 60 bucks for a loose graded figure to go through the eBay GSP. This guy was not doing that. He was just using the regular Royal Mail, and it was only $16 shipped for me from Britain. So that was a pretty attractive feature, the fact that I didn't have to pay so much in international shipping. But I didn't end up bidding on it. I wanted to bid on this, but I didn't bid on it. But anyway, that's another high data point for a high grade Cloud Car Pilot loose graded. It just seems like those figures continue to go up and up and up. I think we saw one earlier this year that was the high watermark to me, was like $925 for an AFA 85 plus loose graded Cloud Car Pilot. So that number still hasn't been eclipsed to my knowledge, but this one was still a high number though for a UKG 85. The usual seller, this is the seller that we usually see end on Sundays, and this is the Muffin Man over in the UK. He had a really nice one that I was thinking about. This was a Spanish PBP TIE Fighter Pilot, but what's cool about this one is that he had the wrong emblems, and this is a common thing that you do see on the Spanish PBP TIE Fighter Pilot, is that they get the incorrect emblems. This is the AT-AT drivers emblems, but it's on the TIE Fighter Pilot, and like I said, it's not that uncommon. You do see this quite a bit. Anyway, that one was a UKG 80%, and that one sold for $233 US or 175 pounds. And you can see that it's labeled there on the label, TIE Fighter Pilot PBP AT-AT driver emblems, no COO. So again, it's a cool variant. They do have the PBP version of the TIE Fighter Pilot with the correct emblems, but I always wanted to get this one just because it's kind of a weird factory error that it does happen quite a bit though. You'll see that pop up occasionally for sale. Another TIE Fighter Pilot that sold, this was by Jeff's Collectible Empire. This was a CAS 80 plus 48A back Empire Strikes Back TIE Fighter Pilot. Beautiful example, clear blister, and you can see there it's 80, 85, 85 were the final grades, 80 plus overall, 48A back. So that one jumped up pretty dramatically at the very end there. It was hovering for around $300 or $400, and then it jumped all the way up to $1045 with $20 shipping. So he had some vintage collection as well as vintage Kenner that all sold this weekend, but that was a pretty high price. It surprised me there. Going back to Brian's Toys, we had this 32 back A Rebel Soldier, Hoth Rebel Soldier, beautiful crystal clear blister, AFA 75, 80, blister 75, figure 80, and that one sold for $335 plus $8 shipping. I thought that was a great deal. Unpunched example, nice crystal clear blister. It was a 75, so it's not super high grade, but I mean, whatever. That's a really nice deal, I think, for a 32 back A Hoth Rebel Soldier. Going back again to Jeff, I should have organized these by seller, so I apologize. But this is Jeff's Collectible Empire. This is one that Boss Bounty and I were talking about offline, and I told him, I was like, I got a bid in, I got a snipe in set up for $600, and I told him that probably an hour before the end of the auction, I probably removed the snipe and chicken out. And that's exactly what I did. I decided not to bid on it. And it wouldn't have mattered anyway. I had a $600 snipe set up, and it sold for $810. But this is the Palitoy Tri-Logo Obi-Wan Kenobi. And this one was graded 80, card 80, blister 75, figure 85. What's interesting, though, is that somebody had one of these on Facebook in the Deal or No Deal group. And he said, I'll take I think it was 500 or 550 shipped, and it was the same grade or higher for the exact same item. And I think it was unpunched. And he couldn't give it away at 550. It was either 500 or 550. And this was about, like I said, about a month or maybe 2 months ago at most. And he couldn't give it away at 500. So who knows? But anyway, that one sold for $810 plus $20 shipping. So $830 shipped plus any state sales taxes that you had. But big number for that Obi-Wan, and like I said, it wouldn't have mattered. My snipe wouldn't have mattered because it would have blown right through that. Again, going back to Brian's Toys, this one's was an AFA 75 plus 77 back A Boba Fett. It was a yellow blister, which is common for this one, but man, what a big number, $35.50. I mean, I'd love to say that price was way too high, but that's right in line with where Boba Fetts have been selling lately for anything 70, 75, 75 plus. It doesn't matter. It seems like 3,000 and above is kind of the new going rate for a decently graded Boba Fett, and on the Return of the Jedi card back. So $35.50 plus shipping for that one. Another one that I thought was kind of interesting. I was really surprised that UKG would grade this, but they graded this Yak Face without his weapon, and I think it's because the the yak face on the Palitoy Tri logos was often packed without that staff, that kind of skiff guard staff that the yak face usually comes with. But anyway, they graded it without that. It was graded 80%, and it sold for $393 US, or about 300 pounds. So, I think that it was an appropriate discount, given that, in my opinion, this was kind of an incomplete figure. But I just found it interesting that UKG would grade this without the staff. I've seen uncirculated yak faces graded like this, because that's different. That was an early one where they pulled it off the card, where it was not inside the blister with the yak face. I could see that. But to grade it 80% with the new style case without the staff, I don't think that CAS or AFA would do that. They would grade this without having the staff, because it's technically an incomplete figure. So I just thought it was an interesting one. I'm not disparaging UKG or anything. I think it's an interesting item, and certainly worth picking up. But I just, I was a little surprised that they would grade that without the staff. Here's another one. This one was the Barada. This was UKG 85%. Another one I was considering. This one sold for a great price, I thought. $234 US, 176 pounds plus shipping. To me, I've seen that very regularly sell for that price ungraded. So to pick that up in a UKG 85 for $234 US is a great deal, in my opinion. Now we're getting to Jeff's Collectible Empire. He had a number of last 17 figures that were all graded by CAS. This was a CAS 85 Imperial Dignitary. That one sold for $224 plus shipping. Probably about right. It's hard to tell. It looks like it might have just a little bit of nose rub, but the photos are so blurry that it's hard to tell. But it looks like, if it does have nose rub, it's very minor. But a really nice example of the Imperial Dignitary for a decent price there, $225. Here is a CAS 85 A-Wing pilot, also from the same seller. $320 took that home plus shipping. So, the A-Wing pilot just continues to go up. I've seen that price for ungraded examples. So, again, I thought that was pretty fair. Amon, that one sold for $222 plus shipping. I thought that was a great price for a CAS 85. Very nice example there. But those prices were very, very fair, I feel like. This was a CAS 90 Han with his carbonite block, another last 17 gem. That one sold for $338 plus shipping. Another pretty fair price. And this was an 80 plus, CAS 80 plus Luke in his Stormtrooper disguise. That one sold for $409. And it looks like it's got the correct blaster there, the all black Imperial blaster. So that was correctly encased. But $409 took that one home on an 80 plus CAS grade. And then he also had a couple of Luke in his indoor ponchos. This one was the 85 plus. That one sold for $232. All really great prices, in my opinion. I feel like these prices were a little bit lower than expected. And then the CAS 90 sold for $270 plus shipping. So a couple of good data points there for the Luke and his indoor poncho. This one was the only one that was really kind of a shocker to me. This one sold for $448. This was a CAS 90 grade General Lando. So another last 17 gem. But man, that's a big number to me. For and admittedly, it's a CAS 90, but 448 is a big number for that Lando. And also a mint on card Lando sold. So this one was $850. It was a yellowed 80, AFA 80 overall. The card got an 80, blister 85, figure 85, but very lightly yellowed. It wasn't like heavily dark yellow like we've seen for some of these. The inner tray looks yellow, but the actual exterior blister looks like it's in pretty good shape overall. Anyway, that one sold for $850. Honestly, I think given the very minor yellowing that this one had, the fact that it was unpunched, nice high subgrades, I think that was a pretty fair price, honestly. It's on the upper end, but to me, I would rather pay a little bit more to get an example like this of the General Lando, where the exterior blister is if it does have yellowing, it's very minor. I mean, it really looks like the inner tray is the only thing that's yellowed there, and what caused the yellow subscore on the label. But it looks to me like the exterior blister is still pretty crystal clear. So to me, I'd rather pay like this and get like one that's very close to clear versus, you can probably pick this up for a very heavily yellowed AFA 80 for, you know, 650 to 700 is my guess. Finally, let's finish this off with a Droids figure. This was another one from Brian's Toys. This was a heavily yellowed, unpunched Star Wars Droids Kia Mall. I thought the price was pretty good on that one. That one was an 85, overall 85 grade, yellowed. Card got an 80, blister 80, excuse me, card got an 85, blister 80, figure 85, but pretty nice. And, you know, $310 plus $8 shipping. I thought that was a pretty great price for a nice high grade Star Wars Droids Kia Mall. So anyway, just some interesting data. I feel like there were some pretty decent deals out there for a number of these. You know, I'm not particularly surprised by the Boba Fett price, but I am a little surprised by this one. I thought this one went pretty high. The Palitoy Obi-Wan, and for the most part, you know, with the exception maybe of the General Lando, the CAS 90 General Lando, I feel like all the loose graded last 17 figures were pretty fair deals overall, given that for most of these ungraded on Facebook, you can see them sell for this or higher. So if you like this kind of market information and you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Please leave a like and comment below with any thoughts or any recent pickups you've had. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.